Once again, good morning. Good morning and welcome to today's function. I think breakfast protocols will allow us to remove masks for those who are still having their breakfast. And those who are done, you could have your masks back on. My name is Amakuza Celestine. I'll be leading this event as the Master of Ceremonies. And before we start, I'll invite Lydian to please come in front and say a word of prayer. Thank you.
Let's pray. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life. We put this event in your hand. We ask you to be with us. Bless our leaders, bless our organizations, bless our country. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. So we gather here today on a special day when CIMERWA, our own, is listing. And I think at this stage, you will allow me to invite the CEO of the Rwanda Stock Exchange, Mr. Pierre Celestin Rwabkumba, to please come and welcome our guests. Thank you very much.
Our guest of honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, those physically here, those virtually present, please allow me to stand on all protocols. I thought everyone in this room is positive. Yeah, of COVID-2019. This is a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. There's a story. One of my friends, so he went to the hospital and came back, and all our group, we happened to belong to a club, a sports club together. And they asked him, he said, you know what, everything was positive. You know, when they asked him how it went at the hospital. So then what he was trying to say, he was okay. So in sometimes, positive does not necessarily mean positive. But what I mean here is that I think everyone in this room, something to be very proud of and happy about. I wouldn't say remove your masks because it's not something nice these days. But everyone in this room has tested for COVID-19, and they have a pass for 3 days for being negative. So from tomorrow, I don't know what they are going to do, but so stay negative and stay healthy. That's my wish to all of you. Good morning. I don't hear any vibe here, and it's a nice day. Yeah. It's such a pleasure to welcome you this morning to Rwanda Stock Exchange's mobile trading floor to witness this great event of celebrating and welcoming our newborn on the official list of Rwanda Stock Exchange main market segment, that is CIMERWA PLC. A round of applause, please. It's a round of applause for this great achievement, for all those who have been involved and continue to be part of this great achievement. It is double pleasure, as we all know the world today is experiencing difficult times, unprecedented disruptions in the most recent history of our economies across the globe, and more for developing countries such as ours in sub-Saharan Africa due to the ongoing COVID-19. I pay tribute to those who couldn't make it due to the pandemic and those, our men and women, in the front line to fight against it. I salute you. I almost said, guma murugo, nibyo tumenyere muri minsi twese. Then I remembered, now it is ambaraga pfukamunwa, kandi wirinde ingendo zitari ngombwa. Thumbs up to our government on this again for its leadership role where many countries are really taking a big hit despite their mighty powers. Ladies and gentlemen, nitwirara urugamba ruracyakomeje, so I think we still have to fight this pandemic if we are to survive as a country and economy. I was being told this morning there are some countries on the continent who have hit 500,000 people with this pandemic. So it's not a joke for us, but we keep praying God that we stay safe. We keep the leadership role in fighting that if we are to continue our journey to prosperity. So I take this opportunity to thank the government of Rwanda, ably represented by Mrs. Claire Akamanzi, CEO of RDB. Claire is one of the most energetic, dedicated, and strongest lawyers at base, turned into a super saleswoman this country has ever had. I would say she comes in second to sell the great opportunities our country has to offer, where indeed, it's no surprise, she has learned from the best, our own Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda. Again, Claire, thank you very much for your continued support in the development of our capital market. You are always there for us when we need you. Trust me, we shall not disappoint you. It is our turn today to make you proud as we are reaching the benchmark of the 10th company listed on the Rwanda Stock Exchange, thus making Rwanda count under the surprise criteria used against us last year in the famous World Bank Doing Business Report 2019 on good corporate governance and protection of minority shareholders. So those who don't know, maybe who may not be aware of this situation, last year Rwanda, we rose 10 places in Doing Business Report, supposedly for failing to have 10 companies listed on our bourse, a criteria which has never been put there before, which we were not even aware about, and that one has to do with protection of minority shareholders. And we were at disadvantage of not having 10 companies listed on our stock exchange, which is the lowest minimum they can even consider a country to be on that criteria. So I think today we have achieved that. Of course, we still have more. I think that one deserves a round of applause again. Thank you, Claire, for your support and continued efforts to help our capital markets and selling Rwanda in general. As you know, the capital market business is all about capital formation that gets achieved from channeling long-term saving into the most productive and competitive sectors of the economy. Today's event is no stranger to that theory, as CIMERWA could not have been on point, as it has chosen to embrace the capital market route as a way of giving the opportunity to the general public to own part of the productive and profitable sectors of the economy, using the hard-gained savings, but at the same time, allowing the company to also expose itself to the highest standards of good corporate governance, accountability, and transparency that our country has been longing for. Again, CIMERWA family, you are showing a good example to the other private sector players in Rwanda. Thank you for that. I wish Robert Bafakurera was the one sitting here in front of me, but he's not that far. I like to talk about people when they are here. They are around. It's not good to talk about people behind their backs. Of course, this is a way of inviting our PSF to engage more companies to come to our delivery room. It is a win-win for everyone. It's not a secret. You can ask Bank of Kigali. I see Diane sitting here with us, and the others who have done that before, who have come to market. They know the benefits of that. But this again is a continuing conversation for another day. Today we are talking about CIMERWA PLC coming to market. So the decision from CIMERWA to list on our young bourse is yet another vote of confidence in our market
sector and definitely Rwanda's economy at large. Today's listing by introduction will have not happened without, of course, as you all know, a visionary leadership of our country through the continued efforts of the government of Rwanda, through the Minister of Finance and the Capital Market Authority, to creating and maintaining a conducive environment to allow capital market industry to evolve. Let me take the opportunity also to thank the government of Rwanda, continued efforts towards enabling our private sector to take the lead in developing our economy. I thank CIMERWA as another private sector business that has accepted to taking on such responsibility. Pioneering the development of our capital market industry is a remarkable market development initiative that will keep CIMERWA on a pedestal for growth and sustainability. With the primary purpose of the listing by introduction by CIMERWA today and its shareholders, the main goal is to make sure that CIMERWA and its shareholders reap the benefit of the stock market, liquidity, and price discovery. This transaction that we are witnessing today, the listing by introduction by CIMERWA, provides opportunity for Rwandans and other investors generally to share in CIMERWA's continuing Rwandan success story. As you all know, CIMERWA operates under the construction sector in Rwanda, which is experiencing a huge boost due to the population growth rate of 2.7% annually. Rwandan construction sector remains one of the 4 key sectors that will propel the country through the National Strategy for Transformation, NST1. As you all know, NST1 aimed at laying the foundation for future sustainable growth and transformation with, as I mentioned previously, the private sector facilitated to make the maximum contribution to Rwanda's development. The listing by introduction of CIMERWA PLC, maybe most of you don't know, remains so far the first listing by introduction by a local Rwandan company. The reason why I'm mentioning that, it is the first company doing the listing by introduction, it's because the so far listed companies we have from the Nairobi Securities Exchange and Johannesburg Stock Exchange respectively are companies that have primarily listed in their markets. So they had to come to the stock exchange trying to penetrate our market. So congratulations, CIMERWA, to take the lead as a local company to do this transaction. Of course, this cannot happen without putting up a conducive environment. And one of it is a regional integration. So the Capital Market Authority has been working through, of course, the government of Rwanda to integrate our markets into the region. I mean, in the East African community and globally. The regional integration agenda is ongoing and actually at an advanced stage. What do I mean by regional integration? We are trying to work together as a region to integrate our legal and regulatory framework. As you all know, each market has its own laws, regulation, but for purpose of creating one regional block market, we had to sit down and agree what are the provision, cross-cutting provision can we put in place to allow free movement of capital, free movement of services within the market. As we speak today, market infrastructure is being integrated as well. So the Rwanda Stock Exchange is working towards automating its trading operations. And the trading operation at the stock exchange will be linked with our peers in the region. So that's just to assure CIMERWA on the free movement of capital that you are going to benefit from our peers' market in the region. I cannot forget mentioning about international integration. Celestin mentioned about Rwanda Finance and the Kigali International Financial Center. So this is one of the latest strategies that the government of Rwanda adopted to make sure that Rwanda integrates itself among the global markets. So international integration remains a priority for the government of Rwanda. And actually the Kigali International Financial Center is going to increase the potential sources of capital investment as well as increase the opportunities for product diversification in our market. Again, we are working together with the Rwanda Finance, Rwanda Development Board, Ministry of Finance, to see how our laws and regulations are meeting international standard. Because we are attracting this big brand, and we had to make sure that our legal framework is ready for them. With this groundbreaking achievement of positioning Rwanda as the international financial center, it is anticipated that several suitable emerging businesses from our private sector in Rwanda, not forgetting those listed on the stock exchange, will take advantage and learn from this unprecedented milestone. Talking about CIMERWA, going public through our stock market in the previous years used to be a myth. People never believed that it was possible in Rwanda. But I really thank CIMERWA to be among the first movers who have been progressively demystifying this myth. And today we are actually listing CIMERWA listing by introduction on the stock exchange. So thank you for partnering with us to demystify that. The Capital Market Authority, in collaboration with the Rwanda Stock Exchange and our licensed intermediaries community, these are stockbrokers, fund managers, and others, will continue on developing and deepening further our domestic capital market. We can, however, not achieve that without collaboration and partnership from different stakeholders from both the public and private sector. That's why you can see in our room we have a mix of public and private sector players. CMA and the stock exchange cannot do that on a daily basis without the support of CIMERWA, of the private sector federation, through its members to really take our market to another level. So we really look forward to working together with you to make sure that we position Rwanda as a preferred destination as far as capital market raising is concerned. And the latest, as you remember, we welcomed recently a South African company that actually opted to list in Rwanda as opposed to, elsewhere in Africa. So this is something that should give us motivation and courage to work further. To develop further our domestic market, however, the government of Rwanda recently, through the Capital Market Authority and other stakeholders, implementing what we call a capital market master plan. This is a 10-year development strategy that is covering 2018 to 2028, with around 78 policy actions cutting across capacity building, product development. And the master plan has two main objectives. First of all, is to make the capital market work for Rwanda. As I mentioned earlier, people thought capital market will not take forward in Rwanda, but we are demystifying it today. The master plan identified the funding needs of our economy. It's reviewed the barriers that have held business back from using capital market financing, and of course it proposed policy actions to address them. The Capital Market Authority, however, pledges its continued commitment to implement the highest standard international best practices as far as stock market development, regulation, and investor protection is concerned. We shall also keep working towards completing the integration with our regional peers and global financial markets, as I mentioned. That will spur more interest and activities from local, regional, and global investors focused on frontier and emerging markets like Rwanda. I want to assure CIMERWA and everyone here in the room and others following us online that the Capital Market Authority remains committed to executing several key initiatives aimed at developing a more transparent, liquid, and accessible market with a modern market structure to support the delivery of a wide range and diversified set of investment products. In concluding my remarks, I cannot proceed without thanking the transaction advisors that really advise CIMERWA. We have a diversified team from the lead transaction advisor. I need to recognize the efforts and the work done by BK Capital, represented by Karine, seated there. She led a team of reporting accountant, legal advisors, lawyers, really, that hand-holded CIMERWA towards today. So thank you, Karine and the team. In concluding my remarks, I would like to commend once again, the board of directors and management of CIMERWA for ensuring that strategic investment decisions, like today's listing by introduction to the Rwanda Stock Exchange, are maintained in order to keep a positive impact on not only the company's shareholders' commitment, but also to our domestic capital markets and Rwanda's socio-economic development agenda. On behalf of the CMA, I wish you success in this new journey you are starting, the support of the Capital Market Authority, the licensed intermediaries, the Rwanda Stock Exchange, to really make sure that we see you as a partner. We are going to progress together during this journey. Thank you all for your kind attention, and I wish you a great day.
Thank you very much, Eric. Our guests of honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow me invite our next speaker, who is Mr. Patrick Marara Shaka, the CEO of Agaciro Development Fund.
Our guest of honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's not so easy to make a speech after Celestin and Eric. Much has been said. I come here standing on behalf of Agaciro Development Fund, which also called AGDF Corporate Trust. We are part of a team of shareholders that are proudly today to list CIMERWA. As you know very well, I think some of us at one time, we have been either buyers or sellers of CIMERWA cement. I believe this is an opportunity to upgrade from a buyer and seller to now a shareholder. I've started the marketing already. One thing that I've noticed is the theme of the listing, which talks about strengthening your future. I've seen it's aligned with the principle of Agaciro, which was also long-term saving for the future. And that's the message we are selling today, to take an opportunity, increase our long-term saving for our future. Again, one aspect of the marketing. I'm not going to dwell much on what others have already said. I think we have been discussing with different people. Some have been saying, is it a good moment? But I know very well that from those experts in stock exchange, you attack when the things are low to sell when they are high. So I believe this is an opportunity for each and everyone. However, to us as Agaciro, which I believe most of you have been contributors, every share that you'll be buying, you'll be counting it as your continuous contribution. And I believe it's the same to other shareholders. This is my brief speech. I thank each and everyone. Murakoze.
Many thanks, Mr. Marara. Mr. Marara, thank you very much for your kind words. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the CEO of CIMERWA, Mr. Albert Sigei, to address us.
Guest of honor, Claire Kamanzi, the CEO, Rwanda Development Bank, Development Board and Cabinet Member, CEO, Agaciro Development Fund, and other shareholders here present, CIMERWA PLC Board of Directors, business partners, our esteemed guests here today, and all those of us joining via electronic means. All protocols observed. Let me start by expressing our gratitude for your presence here in spite of your very busy schedules, especially as we mix that together with the COVID situation. It's a pleasure to share this momentous occasion with all of you as we celebrate CIMERWA PLC's listing on the stock exchange, Rwanda Stock Exchange. As some of you may know, this has been on the works for a while, but we're finally here today, celebrating this great milestone. And there is a question that I get all the time, saying, why are you doing this now? And for me and for CIMERWA, the answer is very simple. We're doing this now because in CIMERWA, we like to be bold. And we like to be bold because we have confidence in ourselves. We've got confidence in ourselves because we know about the long-term potential of our business. And the second reason why we like to be bold is because we have confidence in Rwanda. we've got confidence in Rwanda, and this gives us, that added boost. So yeah, we get this question all the time. I thought I would begin with that. This occasion marks the start of an exciting journey for all of us at CIMERWA as we become part of the Rwanda Stock Exchange family, becoming, as my colleagues have said in the earlier speeches, the 10th company to list on the bourse. And we are really proud of that, achieving that statistic. And like Celeste, the Rwanda Stock Exchange CEO, said earlier on, being the 10th is particularly important because this will help Rwanda to tick that box, which let us down during the ranking last year. So in the coming round of rankings, Rwanda will be, dealing with other statistics, but on this particular one, CIMERWA has stepped in to make sure that we are not let down in this statistic, which is really critical for our perception of Rwanda as a business environment. So we are really very happy with that. Indeed, CIMERWA's listing on the Rwanda Stock Exchange today, it goes beyond just an equity transaction. It is a fulfillment of yet another milestone in CIMERWA PLC's long-term plans. And this was made possible by a number of background conditions that have facilitated this success. Key among these is Rwanda's stable macroeconomic indicators, robust governance, and its transformation agenda, which are provided, all these are provided an enabling environment for the cement sector to thrive with steady annual growth. And this sets a sound basis for the sector's future potential. As you may know, the cement sector has a market demand of about 800,000 tons, give or take. And with the robust GDP growth in Rwanda of around about 5%, or above that actually, the cement sector grows by close to 10%. And while we may take it for granted here, it is not everywhere that you find this kind of growth. This is an investor's dream. If you talk about cement industry investors, to get that kind of growth is really like a dream. In most of the other economies, you're talking about cement demand growing by low single digits, 2%, 3%, and they would celebrate that. So in Rwanda, we are really lucky to be in this space where the demand growth is very strong, and therefore our sector's future potential is really bright. At CIMERWA, we have more than 3 decades of experience of providing high quality, made in Rwanda building solutions. And maybe I'll just remind you of examples that you may have seen earlier this year. If you recall, we launched a range of products that are application-based, the Sure range of products. This is testimony to our continued innovation as we look at the demands and the needs of our customers and the society and the country in general. And we will continue on this path going forward. And this allows our customers and our stakeholders to continue strengthening their communities, both literally and figuratively. This more than 3 decades of experience is complemented by more than 125 years experience of our majority shareholder, PPC. So we stand on solid ground as far as this sector is concerned. This listing is an opportunity for Rwandan retail investors and institutional investors to immerse themselves, to come and join us in this fascinating world of cement and to be part of its growth potential and hence strengthen their tomorrow. For us as a company, this transaction is a perfect platform for us to pledge to our loyal customers and stakeholders our continued effort to strengthen Rwanda, which is our brand promise, actually. We will continue to provide you with the best quality solutions as we work together on this mission. Once again, many thanks to everyone for joining us during this proud moment. I'd like to say murakoze cyane for every single one of you for joining us today. And I hope you can join us by buying our share, which is available from, it's literally a few minutes from now. So I really do hope that we will make an effort and help us not only as individuals to place those orders, but through your networks and connections to excite, the investing world to be part of CIMERWA PLC and its history. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to cede the floor to my colleague and our esteemed Chairman of the Board, Mr. Regis Rugemanchuro. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert, for the warm welcome. Our guest of honor, distinguished guests and colleagues, all protocol observed. Good morning. I think with social distancing, you can allow me to. I'm delighted to be here on this remarkable day. All our hard work, dedication has led us to this moment. CIMERWA is listing on the Rwanda Stock Exchange. My appreciation goes to fellow shareholders, my colleagues in the board, CIMERWA management and staff, and our advisors for making this day a reality. Let me also take this moment to thank all our stakeholders for their continued support, especially the government of Rwanda, customers, suppliers, bankers, and business partners who in one way or another played a key role in getting us to this pivotal moment in CIMERWA's history. The trust you have placed in this brand as your preferred cement provider for more than 35 years has enabled CIMERWA to scale to new heights today. Joining the Rwanda Stock Exchange is clearly the logical next step for CIMERWA to, as a business, to grow and scale up with the environment becoming more competitive. The Rwandan Bourse is steady, growing with an increasing portfolio of listed companies. As my colleagues mentioned earlier, being the 10th is critical, not only for CIMERWA, but also for the country in what it means for the vision. We look forward to propel ourselves to the next level by taking advantage of the numerous benefits and being listed. I want to take this opportunity to call on everyone here in the room, the Rwandan citizens, private investors, international investors, to reach out to your preferred broker, purchase the newly listed share, and see your own tomorrow strengthened by this growing business with a bright future. The CEO of RSC mentioned it today, as we said in Kinyarwanda. Ibyiza biri imbere, all the best is yet to come. It is great honor for me that CIMERWA is taking this step today. That is not only benefit for it as a business, but also to contributing to the development of the Rwanda Stock Exchange as a national priority. With these few remarks, please allow me to welcome our guest of honor, the CEO of RDB, Claire Akamanzi, to give the speech of the day. Thank you all.
Thank you, Regis. Good morning, everyone. First of all, Celeste, I think there are many positive things about being here this morning. I think one very positive one for me is since March, it's the first time I'm attending an event in Convention Center. Before March, I came here for an event almost every week. So since March is the first time, 5 months later, that I'm attending an event. So CEOs that are here, business leaders, please do more events here. They're very small details, like you have to test everybody, you have to brand your masks, but other than that, please do promote our MICE industry as well. So, Chairman, Private Sector Federation, Management, Board, and shareholders of CIMERWA, Executive Director, Capital Markets Authority, CEO, Rwanda Stock Exchange, Captains of Industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. I am pleased to join all my preceding speakers to welcome you to this occasion of listing CIMERWA on the Rwanda Stock Exchange. It is indeed an honor and privilege to be part of this important event. As you're all aware, the capital markets role is to mobilize long-term savings and channel them to productive sectors of the economy. I am pleased to say that the government of Rwanda recognizes this move as transformative for the financial sector and indeed the industrial sector as well. In this spirit, the government could not have been any more supportive as it has established the Capital Markets Authority, which paved way for the Rwanda Stock Exchange and its official launch more than 9 years ago. I understand they will be celebrating 10 years in January 2021, so that's also a big milestone in the making. And of course, most recently, the creation of the Kigali International Financial Center in an effort to maintain Rwanda as a truly business and financial services center of international recognition for the region and the entire continent. These efforts are meant to facilitate the process of fostering financial integration within the region for the effective mobilization of capital and funds, domiciliation to accelerate economic development and serve the continent. Of course, at a time when we are slowly getting back to business amid the coronavirus pandemic, it is inescapable to register CIMERWA's listing as a very strong signal and confidence that is being conferred in our economy, that the economy is on its way to recovery, and as expected, we want to excel in the long term and bring a brighter future not only for our businesses, but also for our country. Indeed, if you look at the Rwanda's economic recovery plan, we expect CIMERWA to play a very big role, both in terms of building the economy through the indirect contributions, but also directly in contributing to the rebuilding and reconstruction recovery of our economy post-COVID-19. In fact, when compared to other economies, Rwanda's per capita cement consumption is still low, only at 57 kilograms per capita, while many countries around us, the number is 150 kilograms per capita. So there is room for growth. There is a lot more building that we need to do for our economy. And of course, when I think about this, I remember that we have so many projects that are currently under development at different stages, many of them infrastructure in nature, and many of them that will be very big consumers of CIMERWA in the future. Some of these include Bugesera International Airport, school construction program, which has been one of the biggest boosts for CIMERWA over the last few months. In fact, I understand CIMERWA registered its highest growth during COVID-19. I think there are very few companies that can say that, that they had registered the highest growth during COVID-19, but I think that was very much supported by the school construction program that the government has been accelerating. We have power plants, we have water treatment plants, we have satellite cities that are also growing, many of which will be given for CIMERWA. In fact, when I think about the projects that we are promoting within RDB, in a few years when you come to the convention center, on your way home, you can stop by a very big mall that's going to come up next door, Minijist Land. We have the sports city that is going to be underpinned by Kigali Arena with a lot of economic activities and entertainment around the sports city that we expect to be just next to Kigali Arena. RSSB is working on a strong golf offering around the golf course. There are very many projects that are upcoming, and I can only say, even with the pandemic that has dampened our spirits, I can only say the future is very bright, not just for CIMERWA, but for Rwanda as an economy. So please invest in CIMERWA and strengthen your tomorrow, as they say. And of course, Rwanda is accelerating its urbanization. Today, 17% of Rwanda is urban, but the goal for Rwanda is to grow that to 35%. Again, as we urbanize, CIMERWA will also be smiling to the bank with us as we smile to bigger cities in the country. And of course, the overall economy is also on a positive outlook. Obviously, 2020 with the pandemic has seen a much slower rate of growth than we've seen in many, many, many years in Rwanda. We were very used to growing at an average of 8%. Last year, it was 9.4%. And this year, Minecofin and IMF estimate 2%. AFDB most recently estimated over 4%. But whatever 2020 presents to us, we know that from 2021, Rwanda is expected to go back to its very high growth rates that we have enjoyed and been accustomed to and built over the many years back. Now, when it comes to the industrial sector, today it's about double digit, between 15 and 17% of GDP. The goal is to grow that by 26%. And therefore, when it comes to our track record as a country, as an economy, when it comes to our ambitions as a country, an ambition that has been backed by a track record, so it's very credible because we are banking on the future based on what we've been able to do as a track record in the past. I think you can safely say that Rwanda's growth is expected to be rapid. The development will drive demand for supporting infrastructure, and by extension, the cement industry will enjoy this positive outlook that we see in the medium to long term for our country. And while we have a good infrastructure standing point, there are a few pointers to also indicate other ways we can look at opportunities relevant to the cement industry. For instance, as I talked about urbanization, but also just building households, we see that households that are living in planned settlements in Rwanda was at 61%, and again by 2024 that target is to reach 80% of planned settlements. It's also worth noting that the population living in urban areas, again, is expected to grow from almost to double from 18.4% to 34%. Again, underpinning, as I said, the huge opportunity that not just the country and the economy will benefit from, but really CIMERWA in particular. And so as we celebrate, ladies and gentlemen, the official listing of CIMERWA on Rwanda Stock Exchange, please allow me to commend CIMERWA's shareholders, management and board for the decision they took to utilize this platform as an expanding point for their business. It shows, as I said, once again, strong confidence in our economy. Indeed, CIMERWA has made a strong contribution, as many speakers have said before, to becoming the 10th company listed on the Rwanda Stock Exchange market, and its usefulness for us at RDB who keep pushing for doing business performance is very, very important. In fact, I remember when Rwanda's performance went backwards from 29th in the world, which was a very, very good performance for a country. I think we were the only country among the top 50 that was not a rich country. There was not a developed economy. All the other 49 good performing countries were either middle income countries or rich economies. Most of them were really high income countries. And again, for a country that is still a low income country, to compete and find a place on the table of the big boys and girls, I think is testament of a very ambitious country, but who also takes very seriously that private sector investment investment environment is very conducive for our long-term plan. So we really care about private sector. We care about private sector making money quickly, easily, and in an environment that is really conducive. And we continue to do that going forward. But when we went back from 29 to 38, our advisors in the World Bank said, oh, the reason you went back mostly is because you don't have enough listed companies on the economy. So it's something that is very difficult to achieve. And we said, just tell us what we need to do. And they said, no, this is like a 3-year, 5-year plan. It's very difficult to achieve. We told them, no, just tell us what we need to do. And then they took us into the details of listing. And I think the fact that we've achieved the 10th company within 2 years, again, I think in Rwanda, when we say we're going to do something, we put every effort to make it happen. And really, today when you say you're going to buy shares in CIMERWA, you have to do it. That's what we do in our country, keep our promises. Now, it's my honor, again, to convey my thanks very much to everyone who has made it this morning, everyone who has made the listing possible. I know there's so many transaction advisors, Baker Capital, lawyers, accountants, the regulators, the stock exchange, many people that have worked very hard to make this listing possible. I want to take this opportunity to not just recognize you, but thank you for this contribution that you've made to not just CIMERWA's listing, but also by implication what that means for our economy. And so let me end my remarks once again by declaring CIMERWA listing and Rwanda Stock Exchange launched. Thank you very much and have a good morning.
Many thanks, our guest of honor. The next session, I think I'll hand over to Mr. Rwabukumba to guide us in the bell ringing ceremony.
Thank you very much, MC. Actually, this is the maiden event, step actually for the day. So this is going to be marking commencement of trading on the CIMERWA shares today. Actually, it's not CIMERWA shares only. So we are officially, normally we start at 9 a.m. So we have a small excuse, the time we stopped it, because this is a trading floor. So it's our floor, we can stop time if we wanted to. So it's okay. But trading will continue after on the trading floors at the Rwanda Stock Exchange. But right now it's going to mark the commencement of trading for today, quickly. So what's going to happen now, we are inviting all the stockbrokers. Please, can you come forward? And the guest of honor and CIMERWA team and board members, transaction advisor, and people who will be observing trading commencement here. So again, you know, there's one slight explanation I wanted to give quickly. You know, you keep hearing something about CIMERWA listing by introduction. Sort of inquiries about it. It's very simple. The company has decided to go on the public markets, not necessarily raising cash. They are not raising any money. So it's basically exposing their shares to the general public, the shareholders who want to exit, mainly the government of Rwanda, and the others who are in the company who wish to sell if they get good price. Trading today, I think we are unveiling the price is 120. It's obvious, it has been put in the prospectus and published before, so it's not new to anybody. But now it's going to be, we are commencing very shortly. It's price discovery. On the secondary market, you have to remember it's price discovery. So now, right now as we speak, it's 120. That's what the shareholders are telling us. But we do not know what the market is going to be telling us from here on. So for purposes of trading and the rules of the game, the first day of trading, the company share price is open. So don't be surprised if you see 1,000. The first price to be 1,000 francs. So that shareholder will be, existing shareholder will be very happy probably if he goes to that one. But if it's 50, you know there will be nukisura. Niko tubivuga mu Kinyarwanda rimwe na rimwe. So icyo gihe wawugize ibyago. But the point is, secondary market, it's price discovery, it's market determined. So niyo mpamvu ibiciro bigenda bimanuka bizamuka on the secondary market because it's determined by supply and demand. So without any further ado, I think protocol can you can help us with the guest of honor, and the table. And this table here, you can come close. You know, we observe trading, commencement of trading on CIMERWA. Yeah. This way. Yeah. Yes, this is the opportunity for commencement of trading. So I will be handing over we observe social distancing, of course. Again, remember we are all positive, right? Today. Or transaction advisor, come on. Diane and Karin, actually. Yes, I forgot it's Karin who has handled the transaction. That's Becker Capital, they are the ring transaction advisor. And we are observing social distancing, of course. So, the official opening price for CIMERWA right now is 120. 6,000 shares have been sold right now as we speak. So that's the first one.
Rather yes. I don't know if you could get the hotel guys to do that.
Thank you. I think we have now started the trading on this market, but on this trading floor, I started my speech saying it's a moving trading floor. Of course, it's going to move again back to the base. So we are going to the stock exchange. The other activities are continuing from here. I think there's going to be a press briefing. Protocol will guide us. But otherwise, I think we have come to the end of our function for today. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Congratulations to CIMERWA. It's 1:20, but we don't know where it's going to end. But there's also a photo opportunity right now. So protocol, please guide us how to do it. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, the people who are going to be in the photo are all the speakers of this morning to please go on the stage. And they will be joined by the brokers. But we'll have two sessions. The first one will be our guest of honor and everyone who had something to say this morning. Please go on the stage. Those who had something to say this morning, all the speakers of this morning, to please go to the stage for the group photo. Socially distancing. Photographer, please guide them how you want them so that you would have. Maybe just for the photo, can we request the bell so they'll give it to the guest of honor for that moment? They wanted it there. I guess if you could kindly hold that bell for this particular photo specifically. Thank you. May we request you to remain there as we request the brokers to also join you. And may I ask the hotel management to help us move this flower. Let the brokers stand in front here. To this side, two more this side. Thank you. Thank you very much. And with that, we come to the close of our program this morning. We shall